class. Welcome to our discussion on the topic speech writing. For those who do not know me yet, or if it's your first time to join my class today, I am your teacher, Sir Dave Dichoso. And today we're going to talk about the topic speech writing as one of the major requirements to be submitted this quarter is a speech. So, it is imperative for us to talk about how to write a speech. Are you ready? If you are ready, let's begin. This presentation aims to define public speaking, present the different kinds of speeches, and explain the simple steps in writing a speech. For the discussion for today, my reference is The Prentice Hall Writing and Grammar by Wilson, 2008. Let's start first by defining what do we mean by public speaking. Public speaking here, according to Wilson, refers to the presentation of a speech before an audience. Getting ready, he also emphasized that getting ready with speech, it requires more preparation than is needed for a group discussion. It's because when you write your speech, you need to conceptualize what topic you would like to discuss, how are you going to discuss it, and what are the steps or what is the logical sequence of the presentation of your speech. Today, I'll be teaching you on how to write a speech. It says here, kindly read this one. Anyone? Press the raise hand button if you would like to read the definition. Yes, Rainier, go ahead.
The more time you invest in preparing and practicing your speech, the better your audience will receive it.
Thank you very much, Rainier. It says here that the more time you invest in preparing and practicing your speech, the better your audience will receive it. This implies that preparation is the key whenever we deliver speeches. It's because when you are prepared, you are sure of what you want to say, how you want to say it, and at the same time, you are confident on the delivery of your speech when you are prepared. Do you agree to that?
Yes, sir.
Of course. Thank you very much for responding. Now let's try to look at this. In writing a speech, we need first to recognize the appropriate kind we are going to use. Appropriate in the sense that you are going to consider the topic of your speech, the purpose of your speech, and then the audience to whom it will be delivered. I would like to emphasize on the last phrase of this sentence. You need to consider the audience to whom it will be delivered. Considering the audience profile in the delivery of your speech is very important. It's because when you know your audience to receive your speech or your message, when you know their language used, or you know their capacity to understand your message, you can adjust to the content of your speech, to the level of language that you are going to use. And at the same time, you can create contextualized statements to promote a sense of belongingness to the listeners. In your speech, you are going to write or deliver a speech for an audience like me. Therefore, if Sir Dave will be the audience of our speech, what topics would interest Sir Dave? What level of language should I employ in the delivery of my speech? Are you following? You need to consider the audience to whom you are going to deliver your speech. Now let's try to look at these things. The first type of speech is informative speech. Anybody who would like to read this one? Other hands aside from Rainier? Shean, go ahead.
Informative speech. An informative speech explains an idea, process, or object. Descriptions and explanations may include technical language or terms.
Thank you very much, Shean. It says here that informative speeches explain an idea. You are there to inform your listeners about an idea. You are there to present a process or an object you want to introduce to them. Example. Example topics for informative speech. What about you talk about the new variant of COVID that originated from South Africa? That is an informative speech. Maybe you can talk about the description of it, the characteristics of the virus or the variant of COVID, something like that. Some say that they cannot listen to my audio. Can you hear me, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kindly cue in the type comment box that you can hear me because I think some cannot hear me. I'll just type it. Kindly. Okay, let me continue. I just hope that their connection will be back so that they can listen to what I'm trying to explain right now. But nevertheless, I'll try to upload this on YouTube later so that those students who are not able to watch or join us synchronously, they can still understand our discussion for today. Maybe they can try to reconnect. Okay, thank you. I was saying earlier that in informative speech, you are there to share information. You are there to share knowledge to your audience about a particular object or topic you are interested to talk about. Next, we have the persuasive speech. Anyone who would like to read this? Other hands aside from... Okay, go ahead, Shania.
Persuasive speech. A persuasive speech attempts to convince the audience to agree with the speaker's position or to take some action. In persuasive speech, the speaker generally follows the conventions of standard English usage.
Thank you, Sanya, for reading this definition. When we talk about persuasive speech, this aims to convince the audience to agree with the speaker's position. A persuasive speech is commonly used in debates, in argumentative discourse. It's because you are there to make them believe your side. You are trying to present them your opinion and ask them to stand with you. So in persuasive speech, you use standard English usage. Or should I say like In persuasive speech, the speech style that is used is assertive. You are assertive in persuasive speech. Let's continue. Third type is entertaining speech. Anyone who would like to read this? Anybody? May I have Crisandro? Crisandro, go ahead.
Entertaining speech. An entertaining speech offers the audience something to enjoy. It may be included in other types of speeches for variety and emphasis. The language of an entertaining speech is usually standard and informal.
Thank you very much, Crisandro. I would like to highlight on this definition the term or phrase offers the audience something to enjoy. Entertaining speech gives the audience joy when the speaker delivers it. Example, comedians like Steve Harvey, right? Ellen DeGeneres. These speakers are very good at entertaining their audience. It's because of their humor. Personally, I think that entertaining speech is one of the most difficult type of speech to deliver. It's because you need to have a wide or creative mind to 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 make punchlines to entertain your audience. It says here also that it may be included in other types of speech for variety and emphasis. This means that you may inject a sentence or a phrase to entertain your audience. Example, last year there is a speech submitted to me by one of my students, and the introductory statement is very catchy. It was like, in love, age doesn't matter, but AIDS matter. Did you get it, class? In love, age doesn't matter, but AIDS matter. The AIDS there pertains to the disease of the immune system, right? Because her topic is all about AIDS, yet she tried to associate AIDS with age. And I find that something like entertaining, but at the same time, it kicks from within. That's a powerful introduction for me. The fourth type of speech is extemporaneous speech. In the context of our education system, or should I say in schools, extemporaneous speeches, sometimes they use this for competitions. But in the real scenario, extemporaneous speech is a form of informal speech that is given to somebody to talk during specific occasions. Example, when you attend a debut or when you attend a birthday party and the celebrant or the member of the family of the celebrant would ask you to deliver a speech, that is a form of extemporaneous speech. It says here, you speak without preparation. It's somewhat challenging, but it shows the capacity of the speaker. It shows the real identity or personality of that speaker. Are you still with me? If yes, can you press the raise hand button if you're still with me? Thank you very much for responding. Now we learned the different types of speeches according to delivery. Let's try to understand, or let's try to deduce on how to write speeches. It says here, once you know what kind of speech to give, if you know already your topic and you have chosen already your purpose, you are ready to write your speech. So, we talk now about the steps in writing your speech. The first one, research your topic. According to Wilson, it's the first step to do. He said that you need to use the library or other resources to find reliable information to support your claims. To research your topic is to look for reliable sources, either from the net or from the books you have as references. The common problem, excuse me, the common problem or mistake that I encounter from my students before is when they try to get details or information from the net or books or references, they forget to use citation. When I say citation, they forget to use citation. They copy what is presented there and they just include it in their speeches without properly annotating or crediting the author, the reference of that information. So how do we use that survey? For instance, you are to cite an author of a book who defined a particular term to be used in your speech. You can use the phrase, according to blank. If it's a book or research, you may say, based on the book published by titled blank. He emphasized that, and then you can rephrase the detail, the information that you researched about your topic. I hope that in the speeches that you are going to submit, you are going to employ the proper citation of your references and authors. Okay? According to, based on, something like that. Are you still with me? Do you have a question about this? Research your topic. Research your topic means also that you look for websites that can provide information, numerical data about your speech. For example, as of today, according to the United Nations, there are about one blah 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 who are affected with COVID. Then you state the numerical data of which died. It's because of this pandemic. I think that's important. It develops the concreteness of your speech. Let's move on. It says here, you need also to evaluate your material. Material, it pertains to your speech, written speech already. Is your speech biased in any way? Do you side a particular aspect of the discussion? For example, there are two sides of your speech. You presented the good thing and the bad thing of something, and then you biased towards one particular aspect. I think it would be better if you are going to give an accurate, truthful, and ethical presentation of your speech. Make sure that you are not biased, especially in controversial issues. If you are going to choose such topics like politics and the like, you need to evaluate your material. Next, make an outline. Here is the deal. In your outline or in your written speech, include introductory and background material, a logical sequence of major points, and supporting details, and an effective summary and conclusion. To put it in a simpler perspective, a speech is composed of three parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. The introduction of your speech should present like a simple statement to catch the audience attention, after which you also need to greet your audience. You don't need, okay, one common mistake that I encountered from the speeches submitted to me before, even in the pre-pandemic years or semesters with the subject oral communication, in their speeches before, they include like, this is David Bidicioso of grade 11, for example, Amethyst, and I will talk about love. In the introductory part of your speech, you need not to mention your name already. Okay? Do not include your name, your section in your speech. It's because it's implied if you are to be invited as a speaker or a resource speaker in an event, there is somebody to introduce you. So no need for you to state your name and the like. In the introductory part, as I was saying, it must be catchy. If you can state quotations from well-known authors, you may do so. Like, according to Mahatma Gandhi, something like that. Then you state the quotation, and then you say, "Ladies and gentlemen, good morning." After you write your introductory part, you proceed with the body. The body presents the meat of your speech. When I say meat, it is the most important part of your speech. And it's also important to note that in the presentation of your body of the speech, there should be a logical sequence. When we say logical sequence, the topics should support, or the content of it should support the main idea of your speech. In here, you present the data you gathered to support your opinion or your claim about topics, or about the topic that you discussed. And after you present the body of your speech, you proceed with the summary and conclusion. Summary and conclusion, when we say summary, this pertains to the encapsulation of what you talk about. It's just like a recap of what was being discussed. And the conclusion is a powerful statement to summarize everything you said. It could be a form of a persuasive statement or a challenge. You are going to pose a challenge to your listeners. That's how we do the conclusion. Let's have a recap. The parts of your speech, it's important for you to have an introduction, body, and conclusion. I would like to ask, what are the things that should be included in the introductory part of your speech? Anybody? If you listen to what I just said. Shean?
Sir, quotations.
Quotations? Kindly answer me in a complete sentence, Shean.
In the introduction, quotation must be included.
Okay. Aside from that, you can also include statistics or testimonials that are related to your topic to introduce the meat of your speech. Thank you, Shean. What about in the body? What are the things that we need to include in the body of your speech? Anybody? Yes, Shania?
We should include informations, facts, informations, and others in our body, in our speech.
Okay, thank you very much, Shania. That she said that you need to include data, facts to support your speech. Maybe the procedure on how to do things like that. Yes, Darius, what is that?
Ay, sasagot din ako, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Ah.
You're-
We should include strong message to the audience in the introduction.
Okay, that's also nice to catch their attention. Thank you very much, Darius. That's a good point. What about in the conclusion part? What are the things that we should include there? What? Crisandro. Crisandro? I think Crisandro has a problem with the connection. He cannot hear me. Anybody who would like to talk about... Yes, Jessa. Thank you, Jessa.
First, at the end of the speech, leave a short summarization for your overall topic. Then you can express your thoughts, feelings, or emotions, and leave a remarkable lesson after all.
Thank you very much, Jessa, for that explicit statement on what we mean by conclusion. Okay. And your task for the week, you are going to write a brief, persuasive, and informative speech on a topic of interest to you. It must have like 350 words. It must be an original work. You can submit your speech to me via Messenger. Okay? Do you have questions about our discussion for today? Do you have questions? Yes, Shania.
Sir, is it okay that we submit our speech below 350 words?
If you can, try your best to submit an output with 350 words. But if you cannot, maybe 300.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shania, for that question. Anybody who would like to ask more questions about the topic or about the task for the week? Anybody? No more? No more clarifications? Yes, Shean, go ahead.
Your deadline,
The deadline is on, I just said, second week of December, I think. December 9. Okay, let me extend. December 12. Would that be okay?
yes sir.
Okay. December 12 is the deadline. Do you have more questions? If none, kindly press the raise hand button. If you no longer have questions, okay, I see 7 hands raised, 9, 10. If none, then I think you are now ready to write your speeches, correct? Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that you learned something from me. That concludes our discussion for today. Stay safe, everyone. Always remember that we, your teachers, are always here to help you, to guide you in whatever problems or struggles you have with regard to your studies. Once again, this is your Sir Dave saying, I love you so much, take care, and God bless. You may now leave this room.